Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to episode 3 of Plot Hole Society. 3 guys with opinions nobody asked for. I'm joined here today with Mr. Jalen Watson, the wild card.
How do you do?
And to my left, we got Bubs.
How's it going?
Starting us off, our first topic today, we'll be reviewing this small movie that came out last weekend called The Odyssey.
Small. It was not small, brother. It was big.
Well, Jacob, why don't you take us away? What were your thoughts about The Odyssey?
Well, first off, Nolan at his best yet again. I didn't think he could really top Oppenheimer. I haven't stopped thinking about it since I've watched it. I've watched it twice now. I watched it on Thursday opening day, and then I came back on Saturday and watched it again, and wow, it was just phenomenal. Kind of sucks I'm unable to watch it in 70 millimeter because the tickets have been sold out.
They sold out like crazy.
I don't really want to sit too close because I don't want my head to break, but ultimately, just what a phenomenal movie from start to finish. It world builds at the beginning, kind of sets the tone, who these characters are, what they're striving for, what this journey is about. I mean, the book's been out for many, many years. There's been other tellings of it as well. I didn't know too much about it, honestly, going into it. I knew the Battle of Troy from the Troy movie with Brad Pitt, but ultimately I wasn't expecting it to be this epic phenomenon of a movie. Firstly, Matt Damon, just phenomenal. From start to finish, he just showed why he is, again, one of the best actors working today. Since Good Will Hunting, when he first started, to now he's grown so much as an actor. And again, he finally made it home. Robert Pattinson playing the snarky, little egotistical kind of
Antagonist.
scared antagonist. The scene where he's, again, spoiler review, if you want to go watch it first and come back to the podcast, you can definitely do that. But the scene where he's like, swords, shields,
yeah.
spears, like one of the funniest things I've watched in quite some time, because it's such an impactful scene, and then it just goes to that. So I thought that was really good. Then you got Zendaya as Athena, great whenever she came on. Our Charlize Theron as Calypso, very good as well. I mean, Samantha Morton playing the witch, just phenomenal. That scene is just crazy. It's a little bit disgusting, a little bit crazy, but it kind of shows what the world thinks of all these Spartans and warriors. And then anything revolving around Troy was phenomenal. The little hints throughout it, and then it would jump to another scene as well. But ultimately, where this movie hits the stride is as soon as it leaves Troy after the battle, and when they go on that journey, and they go to the different lands. You see the Cyclops, you see the giants, you see the whirlpool. Just everything about it, like all the choices he has to make in order to get his group all the way to the end, and just to get home, honestly, is just great. Like, the filming is phenomenal, the score is phenomenal. Ludwig does a great job in the score as well. Like, it's just such a great take on such an impactful story that's been around for many, many years. I can't get enough of it. I would love to go watch it again. I think my girlfriend asked me to go watch it again, so I'll probably do that as well, because she loved it just as much as I did. And again, just what a phenomenal movie. I can't say much more about
Just
that.
to clarify, we loved it too as well.
Yeah.
To go off what Jacob was saying, I absolutely love the movie. I mean, this is Christopher Nolan, a master filmmaker at his craft. From the beginning to the end, I was in awe of the movie. Obviously, the performances are fantastic. Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, But, I really want to highlight 3 people that I thought really should get their dues. Number 1 was John Leguizamo. I thought he was fantastic in the movie. I thought he was really, gravitating any scene that he was in.
Yep.
The other person I want to give a shout out to is Himesh Patel.
Phenomenal.
I could be wrong, but I think second to Matt Damon. I think he had the most amount of screen time in the movie.
He did.
That was what his
right hand,
command?
second in command. So I thought he was fantastic, and some of his scenes were really impactful, and he really kind of carried his own with Matt Damon.
The whole crew in general, everybody
absolutely.
on the main ship is phenomenal.
Yeah, so Himesh Patel, because he's not in any of the marketing stuff, which is insane, because I think he has the second most amount of screen time compared to anybody.
Yeah,
he was a hidden gem.
He really was.
They didn't want to bring him out, and then it was just like, you know what, bang, right there.
So yeah, Himesh Patel was fantastic. And then the third one I think Jacob touched on was Samantha Morton. I think she was fantastic in the movie. Her scenes were super eerie and a bit uncomfortable at times, and you were like, what are we walking into? I think one of the stuff I loved about the Odyssey is about Nolan's jump into horror. There's some sequences in the movie that really delve into horror, which only excites me about the possibility of seeing Nolan do a horror movie at some point. The Cyclops portion I thought was done
Yeah.
really well, and that really sort of showed Nolan's horror chops. So I would love to see what he does maybe in that space in a more amplified matter. Yeah, the score for me, I like, the thing is, I like the score, but I think I was expecting something a bit more sort of amplified and a bit more exuberant. Like, I think when you look at Oppenheimer or Interstellar or Inception or any of the previous Nolan films, I think one of the beauties of it is that the soundtracks have their own identity. Like, I could go to the gym and put on a playlist, or if someone puts on a song from one of his movies, like, I'll know which movie it's for.
Yeah.
I think the soundtrack for this movie was good, but I definitely think it was a bit more low key. But definitely it wasn't as sort of high octane as Oppenheimer or any of his previous sort of films. So that was something that I was a bit surprised by, but definitely welcomed, because I think it was a different sort of soundtrack compared to what we've seen in his previous movies.
I thought it like complemented the movie. So
Absolutely,
well. It was
for
very
sure.
complimentary, yeah.
And then yeah, I think the spectacle, obviously, I mean, it immerses you. I think this movie deserves to be seen in the cinema. I don't
Yeah.
think you should watch it in any other
Yeah,
way.
honestly.
I mean, I definitely want to rewatch it again, so I might do a rewatch if I can in IMAX if tickets are available there.
Yep.
But overall, start to finish, the movie was fantastic. It's, this is cinema, right? And I think it's been a good year so far. We got like movies like Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary, The Invite, The Odyssey. I'm really excited. And Robert Pattinson's killing it. He's got The Odyssey, and in a few months he's got Dune. I mean, I'm really excited. Yeah, and Anne Hathaway does a really good job playing Penelope. You
phenomenal.
really sympathize with her at many points, and you see sort of the struggle that she's going with, where like she's, has this, undenying hope that her husband will return.
Yep.
And I think Anne Hathaway carries every scene that she's in. Ultimately, yeah, my final thoughts: the performances were fantastic, the spectacle was amazing, and you're just immersed in it from start to finish. And yeah, I think The Odyssey was a fantastic movie, and it delivered on all cylinders.
Alrighty. Okay. My take is gonna be completely different from there too.
What?
You understand? I went into this movie. Basically, I really went in there reviewing it and judging the movie. So you will get my score and
watched
rating.
the movie.
No. From the beginning, I would say I don't know anything about Greek mythology at all. I'm not saying I do. I would love to know more. What I will say about this movie is it is great. What Christopher Nolan did is he made me basically engage with what I'm watching. You understand? So not knowing the story, even though the story was all over the place, what I mean by all over the place is I mean like
non-linear.
yeah, so
it
you're not
cuts-
yeah,
It cuts to the Trojan War, back to the
Exactly.
Odyssey, back to Tom Holland.
But what he did so amazing was he made you understand, and he made you not be confused. Like even though you're cutting from one point to
Yeah.
the next point, he brought it back so smoothly, and he brought it back to the point where you're just like, okay, I understand the reason why he's doing what he's doing. I understand what happened. He just basically made the movie so seamlessly. It was just perfect. Everything was it was like a fine point. Like he did everything pinpoint. Everything was on point. Even the actors were perfect. I do have some critiques about them that will come later on, but overall the movie was good. I understood it. I do want to do more research and basically look back and see if he actually followed the story. Obviously, you can't follow the story to the exact.
I mean, it's an adaptation, so there's gonna be changes. For
Exactly.
You can only do so much in a 3-hour movie.
Exactly. So I think he did the best that he could. You will get my rating later on, and I know these two are not gonna like it. That's all I want to say.
Well, that's the beauty of movies. It's subjective.
Exactly.
Even if you got hot takes.
Yes, exactly. And I will put out there, what Tom Holland did in this movie, I think he really surprised me. He really showed his true potential, and that's what from the previous video I was talking about Christopher Nolan, is that he brings the best out of every actor he works with. So seeing him work with Tom Holland, seeing him work with all these actors and really bringing out the best that they can, and like I said, I'm not the biggest Tom Holland supporter. I do think he is a good actor, don't get me wrong, but what I seen in this movie, I thought he hit it nail on the
Yeah,
head.
I've seen some
Like-
people say he wasn't doing that. I thought he was pretty
I thought he was
great.
good too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he-
I
don't know.
didn't think he would like. He obviously is like not on the level of the like Anne Hathaway,
Yep,
Robert Pattinson, and them. He's getting there.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was a standout at all. Like I thought every scene he was in was delivered for sure.
Yeah, and even playing the son, like you
Yeah.
could just be like again.
He played it perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Dace's son, he's not really confident in himself. He doesn't want to take that next step into get the shooters out of where he's living. So
Ithaca, yeah.
yeah, Ithaca. So you see the character development going forward of Tom Holland, and it's just like later down the line at the end, he really steps up for his dad, and it's just beautiful to see. And I really am surprised at really what he did.
I'm just curious from your point of view because I think we really like the movie, but I'm really interested to see what is something because you are a general movie goer, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's so interesting to have you on here. What was it that didn't work for you, maybe that you maybe didn't respond to your liking?
I think the biggest thing for me is whenever I see like any type of movie that that has to do with history, if you're gonna go full out, I want full out. The only thing that I didn't like is that the accents. There was nothing there. Like
There's no authenticity.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you're gonna really go full out, and trust me, I know it's hard. You're dealing with a lot of people, and you don't know what people can do. Like even then, like Tom Holland's British. Maybe like I said, not everyone can do a British accent or whatever the case is. But just for me, when I'm watching a movie, and if it's gonna be authentic, you don't have to have a Greek accent, but I want some sort of accent there to really draw me in. Because again,
Because they were talking in modern English.
exactly,
Okay,
like
so that's something you didn't like.
yeah,
Okay.
so not something I didn't like, but something I just want. Like if you're gonna create a movie like that, like at least have something, And again, these are American actors. I understand if they can't do the voice or the vocals or whatever you want to say. I just think what really would have made it for me 10 out of 10 is if you have that side of it. If Christopher Nolan's working with these guys, bring in a vocal trainer, be like, okay, let's work on how to get the Greek accent, or even just get some sort of accent so that it draws me more to the movie. Because I think that side of it, I was more worried about.
That didn't work for you. That lost you in the movie.
Yeah, because I'm like every time
It was like too much star power for you, where it's like
not even too much star power. I'm listening and I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's like like I want
it's like you're seeing ancient settings, but you're
exactly.
modern
I'm hearing modern day English. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like I want bring it out. Like again, Christopher Nolan brings out the best, but I'm just like, if you can bring out the best, bring out the best. Bring out everything. Give me that accent. Give me everything about Greek mythology. So for me, it was more of that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like the movie was great. The action was beautiful. Like even that end
The
scene.
scenery was fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where
Cinematography was great.
Anne Hathaway is
The challenge.
it's a challenge. Find her new husband.
Yeah, that whole sequence was fantastic.
Beautiful,
Really well done.
right?
Everything with the bow too.
Exactly.
Like the
That
bow,
scene
the
is
bow,
gonna-
and then he does.
and the score is
it was
just
beautiful.
beautiful
And then
in
the
that.
arrow just goes through seamlessly, and it's just like it was so. Like I said, he did so well, pinpointed everything, and it was just beautiful.
Shout out to Matt Damon for oral farming in
Yeah.
that last act. Like,
A couple things that I want to add on as well, in my takes, is the way that he tied things back.
Yeah.
Like the first thing that when I watched the second time, I didn't expect to like shed a tear, but when his dog noticed that it was him, was just beautiful.
beautiful scene.
It was just phenomenal. And then the big thing is when he meets again. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Adaminon or Benny Safdie's character. When he talk about Aura Farm, by the way, like that guy. When they opened the gates into Troy, I had chills. I've never been more like in awe of a scene. And when they dropped the flame as well. But when he says to Matt Damon, "Don't go in like I did and expect a big hooray and hurrah." Assess the situation, and he does exactly that. He doesn't tell anyone that it's him, but again, obviously, if people realize it's him, like again with the telltale where he got bit by the boar at the beginning, and the maid that helped him originally and helped him when he came back for Odysseus, just everything tied in so well. When Areeb was touching on with the horror and the Cyclops, when he gets stabbed in the eye and he's yelling to Poseidon, like that was eerie. That got you kind of shook. And then when Matt Damon hits him with the arrow and he's leaving, and he's chasing them, just scary as well. And then the giant scene is on the boats, and they're killing all his men. Just how every scene is another consequence, adding on to his journey that's already been such a terrible time.
And even the Trojan horse too scene, like when they're like, obviously we didn't see too much of the building, but even when they're just sitting there, and then even like to think about, like, you have to think about back then they didn't have any machinery, so slaves on the logs, like that is what they used to move stuff. So it's just like the fine details that he used was so, like, people, like, they look over that stuff, right? Like, how did they get the Trojan horse to, you know, Troy? Like, little stuff like that makes the movie great. And it's just like, even
because you pick up on these little details.
You watched Troy recently too, right?
I did. I really liked it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really unique kind of, I guess, prequel in a way. In a sense.
I know. That's what I was saying. Is from the last review, is like it's kind of like a jump. Like, obviously Troy is mainly about Helen of Troy and everything like that, and then this movie's like centered around Odysseus, the powerful.
Because Sean Bean plays Odysseus in that one, I think.
And
Troy.
then you got but it's mainly focusing on Achilles. And then you got Eric Bana and Orlando Bloom, and then obviously Helen of Troy,
but in a unique way you can finish that movie and then just pick it off from where.
Exactly, it follows Troy so well, and Troy's a phenomenal movie too. One thing, if you were to nitpick, this is just strictly a nitpick. When you're looking at the horse like that looks like a sculpture that was built in 30 years. If you watch Troy, the horse looks a little bit more worn out, and like they kind of just went, this is the plan, we're gonna kind of wrap it together.
Right.
Obviously, again, they were there for quite many years, but still, like the fact that it's like designed and sculpted perfectly, that would be my only nitpick. But the horse looks beautiful, so I don't really care. Like it didn't bother me. And like I said, the Troy fight in the Odyssey was amazing. Like, just again, when he's dropping the torch down and the guys are like, it shows all the soldiers that are just camped waiting outside, and how they're so close to opening the door, and everyone's kind of just, everything was perfect. And just the overall aspect of like the horror side too, not even just like the scary scenes, but like the psychological sense, kind of like Oppenheimer, how it's not directly a horror movie, but it is a horror movie.
There's a lot of thematic elements into the movie
and
that
all
create
of his
a horror.
decisions, kind of he's realizing that when he's laying down on Troy, looking up.
Lots of parallels to Oppenheimer I found with this movie as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what I watched a little bit of a documentary with, or not documentary, but like a sit down with Nolan, and he said, I want to get in, I would love to do a horror movie, but he also considers Oppenheimer a horror movie. And elements in this movie are there's horror, not only jump scares and throwing in your face with the Cyclops, but the aspect of how his decisions have affected everyone around him.
Even when they're on the beach too, when the what do you call it? Who does he talk to get the dead people?
Oh yeah, when he's in hell.
Yeah, like
Singard, right? Or the one that's played by Elliot Page.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah. Like you can just tell, like he just did so amazing. I'm not gonna lie, he did perfect. Even with that scene too, like
that scene was amazing.
Yeah, you bring out the emotion of like your soldiers just explaining to you what happened. Like, you know, they're talking about go bury us. What was it, in the south or the west? What did he say?
No, he said he was gonna head west, I believe.
Yeah, to honor his soldiers. Like it was just a poetic movie.
Yeah.
He did step by step.
It's based on a poem. So, you know.
It was just beautiful.
I guess to overall conclude, what would be your rating of the movie on your Letterboxd?
So originally, my rating was a 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I said about the critique of like the accents and stuff, I brought it down to a 4. I need to change it in my Letterboxd, but I think just it really affected me, like just going throughout the movie, like hearing those voices, just, like I was thinking while I was watching, it's like
why? It took you out.
Yeah, it was just like it distracted me from the movie.
I think for me right now, I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5. I think I need to rewatch this movie. I really want to see it again. There's a lot of I was just so in awe, and I really want to go back and revisit it because to see if there's any things that I missed up on or I could pick up on new things. So I definitely want to see it for a second time. It's a very likely chance that second viewing make it a 5 out of 5, but I just need to watch it that second time to really know that, because that's a that's a 10 out of 10, really, right?
I went into the movie for the first viewing. I thought it was a 5 out of 5. I thought it was one of Nolan's best movies. Right now, just because it's so fresh, it's in my top three. Second viewing, I thought it was even better. I thought everything was perfect. Like I said, I shed a tear when he saw his dog Argus. I just everything was just so perfect. And again, Matt Damon and Hathaway, just everyone's acting their ass off. Like even Ryan Hurst as a character too. Just he fit the role perfectly.
The funny thing about that is when I saw Ryan Hurst, I know it was Ryan Hurst in the movie, and I thought that guy looks like Kratos.
Odyssey, I can't say nothing more than just praise for this movie.
I guess to kind of segue off to our new topic, what would you guys like to see Christopher Nolan do next?
I mean, horror is definitely the first one on there, because like again, he's done psychological horror with Oppenheimer, just from the outside seeing how his changes made. But if he does like a deep dive into a straight horror film, kind of like what Robert Eggers does with Nosferatu, now The Werewolf, and then obviously with his other movies as well, The Witch and The Lighthouse. Those movies are horror on it. He's done sci-fi. He's done all of that. I don't really know what else he could really do.
I'd love to see him do a comedy, you know?
Yeah, I wonder how Nolan's... Because if you watch his interviews, he's a little kind of...
You got that dry humor. Yeah.
So maybe if he did like I don't know, maybe like a buddy cop movie. Or,
that'd be insane.
Or just like I get down for that.
It would be the most mind-bending comedy movie, not linear.
Yeah, you have to second guess every single line.
You'd be connecting the dots to find the jokes, you know. So what about you, Jalen? What movie would you like to see Christopher Nolan?
Realistically, I love to watch documentaries. So if he did like a documentary, just even on his life or like on anyone,
or behind the scenes.
Yeah, like even
like a biopic or a documentary.
Biopic, documentary, whatever he wants to do. I love documentaries. I love going in and learning new things, especially with Odyssey. Odyssey, you can see he really did his research. Yeah, like even just on his life, like I would be so down to watch that. Like I said, I love learning new things, love learning about different histories and cultures. So something maybe in a biopic or a documentary, something like that.
Crazy.
The one thing I love about even like shows, movies, especially with like biopics, documentaries, whatever, I love to understand why people do what they do or their thoughts.
Why they make that choice.
Exactly.
Why they chose the camera from there. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just like if he did something like that, I'm going right away. And
I feel like more directors need to do that.
They do, because like we only see what the end product, right? We don't know what they're thinking. So if we really got like just like you said, a behind the scenes or like just,
a more deeper insight.
Exactly. Right. I would definitely go see more movies about like these directors and watch more of their movies.
I really want to see Christopher Nolan, take on a video game adaptation. I think that'd be really cool. I think that would be what
movie would that be though?
I personally think, like, if I had to pick because I think we're all big video gamers here.
Yep.
I would love for him to do Assassin's Creed. I think Assassin's Creed basically tackles everything that you would want a Christopher Nolan movie. It's got that mind-bending sci-fi component to it.
Yep.
You got that swords and sandals element with the different timelines. I think that is such a natural progression for Christopher Nolan to do.
Kind of like Odyssey mixed in with
like Inception,
or
mean. Like it's
like Inception's get in the device, you get thrown right in.
I think with Assassin's Creed, because I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan, been since day one. I think especially the first few games and that narrative arc, there's such a level of sophistication and depth into it that I think would translate really well.
Time, for sure.
For sure, absolutely. That would translate really well into a Christopher Nolan movie. So I think you've got the spectacle, the scale, and the sort of the in-depth sort of conflicts with the assassins and Templars, and then you got the modern day narrative. I just think that would be so amazing to see. The thing about like video games in general is that video games are designed to sort of create a narrative that can justify like a 20 to 40 hour narrative experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard if you just, congest that into a 2-hour sort of runtime.
That's why there hasn't been many.
And that's why I feel like TV's been the best medium. You've had shows like Fallout, which I think is fantastic. I guess I want to kind of stay on that video game topic. What, video games would you guys want to see be adapted onto the big screen? If you had to pick like 2.
Well, I just hope Call of Duty, because I know they're making a Call of Duty movie. I just hope it's good, because they
messed up. They had Spielberg in their hands. They said we want control, and they drop the ball.
It's Peter Berg, who I am
Peter Berg is great.
because he's done The Lone Survivor,
Lone Survivor a lot.
Deepwater Horizon, which is fantastic. I really like Deepwater Horizon. And I think they just confirmed that it's going to be set in the Modern Warfare universe.
Okay.
So
Which one, the newer one or the
that, I don't
original?
know, but I'm guessing we're going to get
They
Soap
go
and
into
Makarov.
2007.
You think they'll do No Russia?
I don't know if you can do that. I think they might have to skip that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they want to go, like, because the problem with it is it's a Call of Duty movie, and
Yeah.
Call of Duty is such a big, potent franchise that it's not going to be one of those things where they're going to be hitting those hard, in-depth things.
I thought it would be really cool. I don't know if this idea would work or not. If they made a random timeline, but like, 'cause I know Black Ops is set during the 60s and the 70s, and that's like.
And then jumps to, like, Black Ops 2 is a 2025.
I thought, what if you just did like a Avengers type Call of Duty movie where it's set in the modern day, but you got Soap, you got Mason, you got Woods, you got all the protagonists from all the different Call of Duties.
Bryce.
Yeah, exactly, and they're all just working together because they're gonna have a different operatives. So I thought that would be really cool.
I mean, Berg's going to do it. Like, if you watch Lone Survivor, like, that is basically Call of Duty. It feels like a
Yeah.
Call of Duty mission. Like, he's kind of trapped and saving himself. So ultimately, I feel like he could definitely hit.
And the writer is, I think, Taylor Sheridan, I think is his name, the guy who did
Yellowstone?
Yellowstone,
Yeah.
and so I think, and Wind River, which is underrated
beautiful
gem.
movie.
So,
Number 5 out of 5.
But kind of to backtrack, so Call of Duty would be your first one. What
Yep.
would you
Call
do
of
for your
Duty.
second?
Okay, hear me out now. I would want a better Borderlands. I'm a Borderlands fanatic. I play Borderlands 2, 3. I want a better. Listen, don't get me wrong. Like,
They should have done, because I'm not too familiar with Borderlands. I've played a bit of it. They should have done it like Mad Max.
Yeah.
You had such
Yeah.
an easy way to do that,
Yeah.
and I've only seen bad things about Borderlands.
yeah,
Like,
they ruined that.
and I know you've played quite a bit of all of them.
Yeah, like
It's a unique style of a game.
It is. It caused a rift between someone. So it's just like, especially with like Call of Duty, Borderlands, they're very harsh games. Like,
There's a big fan base, so there's always going to be
Exactly.
critiques.
Yeah, and that's
So
the
it's just
critiques that
hard.
you're getting with Resident Evil with the new movie coming out. People either want it follow the timeline and do this, or don't do it at all.
yeah.
And if
yeah.
it's not exactly what they think it is, they've already complained.
Yeah, so it's
So,
just
yeah.
it's very hard. You have too much, like, if you're a fan, like, even with Call of Duty, if you're a fan of Call of Duty, one change, people are gonna complain. It's just like, I don't want this, keep it original. Which is, I don't knock them, but it's just like, it's hard because you're trying to please so many, you're just trying to please so many people, and it's just very hard. But those would be my two, Call of Duty and Borderlands. Just a better Borderlands, I would say.
I think for me, I think I said this earlier, like, I think Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
would be my number one. I mean, Christopher Nolan or whomever, I think the possibilities for that franchise are endless, and I think there's so much good lore. I would love to see anyone tackle the Assassin's Creed sort of franchise.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what Netflix does, but I really kind of want to see a more faithful adaptation where we get Altair and Ezio. And then this one, my other video game would be, and this one's going for the fences, I would want a Rocket League movie.
That's wild.
Okay, like
That's wild.
we love playing Rocket League. I think that was something that Jacob and I did like at 12 in the morning almost every day during COVID. And every time we were playing it, I think I would just throw out this random idea, like it's Speed Racer meets like the Mighty Ducks.
That's
Okay.
gonna be so hard though. It's gonna
No,
be
but like,
so hard.
could you
to do
imagine
that.
like you have like the really emotional core of the team, and then like one of them gets blown up or something, and it's like kaboom, kabow, and then you got like the bonker skeptical, like it's cars playing with soccer, all right, and in full
You could
Christopher
definitely
Nolan
do it.
fashion, we're doing it practical, all right.
No, but Speed Racer, like, if you watch Speed Racer, by the way, that movie holds up so well. I watched it
It does.
recently.
Underrated
It's
gem.
So
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
If you were to do it like that, because the crowd is like animatronic in the background, like,
yeah.
and that's exactly what Rocket League is. And if you just make it like goofy and don't try to be serious with it, I think you could really have a good time with that.
Yeah, I think like
I think it would work.
I think it'd be so bonkers that I think it would just about it would
Yeah.
work. Like I think so. Like
I think it would be a fun one, especially if you're a fan of like Mighty
watching
Ducks.
that in IMAX, could you imagine? Or D-Box for that matter.
Honestly, I don't like 3D, but that would probably be a 3D.
Oh,
That'd be a
that
good
should
one.
be. Yeah, I'm not a fan of 3D either, but I might.
That would actually be an interesting one. I think
Yeah.
that would be a really fun one.
Yeah, like get like Sean Levy, who I think to direct, who did like Real Steel and Deadpool and Wolverine. But yeah, I think Assassin's Creed or Rocket League for sure would be my two picks for video game adaptations.
For me, my favorite video game of all time is Gears of War. And this is going to be on the aspect of following, like, first a trilogy again you have, or you could even do more. But you start off as E-Day when it first happens, when the whole event first takes place. Again, E-Day is coming out fairly soon as well, which I'm super excited for.
Looks really good, yeah.
I just replayed all the Gears of War again. They, again, 2 and 3 are phenomenal. 1 still holds up as well too. But like, if you were to do a good Gears of War movie, you could even just cast, like, I mean, Batista was a character, like, he could be the main focus.
Marcus Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, like, you don't even have to do Marcus. You can just go like a completely different way. All the games, you could do the original trilogy there. That would definitely be just so gruesome, gory, bloody, and just there's so many different ways. Like, when Dom dies, it's just so impactful. When he loses his wife, like, just the journey that Dom goes from one, he's just your buddy, and then his whole life just collapses in front of you over the trilogy. Like, there's just so many things you can do about that for Gears. So definitely you can do that. The other game would be, and I don't know if you could do a movie. You can definitely do one. Mainly just focus on the homicide side of things, but definitely LA Noire. That's one of
a good pick. LA Noire is fantastic.
One of my favorite games of all time too. And just the aspect how you're just like a detective. Like, you start off as a traffic cop. They ask you to get some clues and figure out where the weapon is. Then you go to traffic. Then you go to homicide, arson, vice. Like, you just do all the aspects, and then it all ties into one story at the end of the day. But for me, like, the story I would focus on is the Black Dahlia murders. In the way it tells it in the game, how you're kind of just investigating these homicides on these women, and then all of a sudden, the big aspect comes in. There's so many different puzzles and everything. So I think
underrated game.
Like, if you were to get Fincher in his prime to do that, kind of like Seven, like,
yeah, David Fincher would be amazing.
You could cook with that. Or even if it was done in the 80s, you can get Brian De Palma, who did Scarface, the original Mission Impossible. So you got there's just so many things you can do with that. And me and Areeb have been talking about this as well. Like, his ideas was you kind of just do like a limited series, or not even a limited series, maybe like 4 seasons, and do one of every major city in the world, like one in LA. I mean, we've already got that with the game, but then you do like
Miami, Tokyo, yeah, absolutely. The possibilities around
London, like London in the 1800s with
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, like, cool. There's just so many things you can do, and it's just, if you go and play that game, you know what the game's about. It's such a mentally demanding game. For a video game to challenge your brain and try to read people is pretty interesting.
I can't believe I was 11 when I first played that game.
Yeah, like, I same. Like, I remember playing, and my dad's like, "Yeah, you're not playing this." So, I mean,
I was at Best Buy, and I'm like, I was trying to convince my parents, I'm like, that's fine. Like, you can buy this for me.
Back in the day when we had to actually do that, but
yeah, no.
I mean, there's just so many things. So definitely for me, Gears of War and LA Noire, I think you can't really go too wrong with those games.
Obviously, you got your honorable mentions like Red Dead or GTA or God of War.
Yeah,
I think
Red Dead is.
I don't think you could do Red Dead in a movie. I just think there's too much for you to.
No,
I think there's a lot of great video games that have such great, strong stories that I think would work really well in a television format.
Even Uncharted.
I think Uncharted you could kind of do like Indiana Jones. Our next topic, we're doing movie trailer spotlight. Starting off with our first trailer that we watched is for a movie that I didn't even know about called I Play Rocky, which tells the story of Sylvester Stallone and how he, I guess, got to play Rocky. My first thoughts about this movie was, I first of all, I was like, why are they making a movie about this? And I didn't know what to really expect. After watching this trailer, this is like one of my most anticipated movies of the year. The trailer had no right being as good as it was. It's an underdog story. It's a story that anyone can relate with about just pursuing your dreams. Me personally,
it relates to you.
Yeah, because I'm in pursuit of an actor, so seeing that story really translates to me, and just seeing myself reflected in that. So I thought, like, everything from start to like the score, like the Rocky theme that's kind of playing in the background.
They made it more cinematic and
Yeah, absolutely.
orchestra. Yeah.
And the actor who's playing Sylvester Stallone, he also played Al Pacino in this TV show called The Offer, which was about the making of The Godfather. So it's kind of interesting now that he went from Pacino and now he's playing
Another
Stallone.
actor. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I thought the trailer was great. It's like I'm really excited to see what they do with it.
What's not to like? I think Rocky is probably the greatest sports movie ever made. The fact that he wrote that himself, he sold his dog to make the movie. Obviously, he got it back afterwards. But just like everything is just so real because it's such a low. You can tell it's a low budget film, but the fact that it's it's made such a big impact. Like he has a statue in Philadelphia. That's how big the movie really is. So the fact that we're getting a story about how that was made. Again, going back to Jalen talking about how directors need to make more of these movies. What bigger franchise than Rocky, especially for sports movies? Like Creed was spawned after it too. So, and he does it like in the trailer. He does a great job of his voice because Stallone's got such a
He does a really great job
he's such a
capturing all the
unique voice,
mannerisms.
Like, and just his looks. It just looks like you're watching Rocky again, but fresh and new.
Yeah, when I first saw the trailer, I was very excited. I grew up with Rocky as a kid. You know, when you see the movie, you want to be a boxer because you basically see a man fighting for his life. So, seeing the trailer, it looks very interesting. I'm very excited to watch it. Yeah, and like Jacob said, Rocky, it spawned into Creed and Creed 1, Creed 2, and all the Rocky movies. It's just very an inspiring movie to watch.
Yep.
So seeing how he created the movie, seeing what he went through, I'm excited for the movie and I'm looking forward to it.
I don't think it feels like an impersonation. Like when I'm watching that trailer, I'm thinking, okay, I'm seeing Sylvester Stallone.
It feels like someone is filming, like said in our age now, but filming the original. And everything looks great. If you've watched Rocky, I've watched Rocky thousands of times. Yeah. It feels like, I can tell you that everything is pretty spot on.
Our second trailer that we're going to be talking about in our movie trailer spotlight is Avengers: Doomsday. It just released today. Probably going to be one of the biggest movies of the year. I guess I'll start off. Honestly, I'm excited. I really am, but I don't know how to feel about it. I think like it's Avengers, it's Marvel. I've been a Marvel fan since I can remember, and I'll be there opening day to go see it. But and I'm really glad to see my boy Chris Evans. I love Cap, and I think what's exciting is that from at least from what it seems like in the trailer, Thor is kind of taking sort of the charge because I feel like
that's what I got from it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think in the previous movies, it's really been a song and dance between Tony and Steve. And I feel like I'm curious and excited to see if Thor is going to be sort of that central main point in the character. From the opening of the trailer, it seems like Robert Downey Jr. is the one that's voicing, like that's the voiceover in the movie. He doesn't sound anything like RDJ, so he does a really good job, I guess, doing that sort of accent with Doom. But I'm optimistic. I'm excited to see what happens. I think, I don't know, this new set of crew, I'm not feeling it too much.
Not at all.
Knowing who Doom is and how strong he is, I mean, just from just hearing all the stories that people tell and just what like any video game you play with him, he's easily the strongest. So just it just seems a little interesting that like you got the Fantastic Four, yeah, they're fairly strong, but the rest of it's just street people, like pretty much. Yeah. I know they're bringing back Magneto and Professor X.
Yeah. Cyclops looks great. That outfit of his is fantastic.
Finally, they have a proper one because the cast itself and the people that are in it, I feel like they were forced to bring back Chris Evans because I just don't see how this movie, like, I mean, it's obviously going to make $1 billion most likely or close to it because it's an Avengers movie and that's all they do. But I don't know if besides going to the theaters, if I'm excited to go watch it. Like at home, I feel like it would just be doing a disservice.
Before we get to your thoughts, I do want to say, like, I don't know how I feel because, like, RDJ returning, I'm like, okay, like, he's playing a different character. How is that going to work? I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. The guy we've been following for 35 movies.
Yeah, like, because he is synonymous as Iron Man in the MCU. So I would have personally preferred if they had done a new cat, like a new actor for Doctor Doom, like get like an Adam Driver or whomever for that matter.
Yeah.
But I am still excited to see it because the Russos have been 4 for 4 when it comes to their Marvel track record. They gave us Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. So in the Russo brothers, I trust. Chris Evans returning, it's a double-edged sword because he had such a perfect ending in Endgame, but he is.
I feel like it's just gonna be a fan service movie at the end of the day, which is good. Like No Way Home is a great movie. Like especially watching the theaters, like everyone was talking about that for a month after, 2 months after. So I mean, you're definitely gonna get that aspect. I'm intrigued to see where it goes, what they're setting up for the next because. Yeah. I heard the end credit scene in Spider-Man sets up Doom.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what.
Because it's been confirmed now that it's set before the events of Doom.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see where everything's gonna go, and what's gonna happen afterwards. Like again, we still got Secret Wars afterwards.
Yeah, that comes out next year in December.
The problem with my sense right now is like you had such these pillars. You had Robert Downey Jr., you had Chris Hemsworth, you had Steve Rogers, Chris Evans. And there's just such formidable characters. I feel like now it's just like we have no star power, like actual star power in a character that it's kind of just.
Yeah, because I feel like Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, they were the heart and soul of the MCU. Like it's not about like being the coolest or it's like the best written character.
Dynamic. Yeah,
exactly. Like like it's Captain America on paper, he could have been a boring character, but for me, he was one of my favorite characters in the MCU.
Yeah.
And and Tony Stark could have been easily just been like a Bruce Wayne kind of ripoff, but the writing for both those characters, you become so attached to them that when you're in the movies, that's the heart and soul that's driving it. And I feel like the MCU kind of lost their heart and soul and lost their identity when they left. But they had a picture perfect ending with both those characters in Endgame. But I guess Jalen, for someone that's been kind of on a roller coaster with MCU, because I know you've kind of been back and forth on Marvel. How do you feel about the movie?
The trailer for me, I was talking about this with my coworker. It's Marvel. It's more like they're just copying pasting at this point.
I agree.
Like we ended it off so perfect. Like everyone came back. Like they got their revenge back, and like I feel like they're just dragging it on at this point. Like. We know what's gonna happen. Either villain beats, and then they come back and it's the same thing over and over. And it's like Bubs and Areeb said, like this cast is not. It's not what people want to see. Like I'm sorry, like you watch the TV shows. Like I try to watch it in TV shows. They're not what I want to see. So it's just like we're dragging on at.
There's no point. Piggybacking off what you're saying, like the problem I have is that you've had so many duds in a row.
Yeah.
Like Brave New World, I just watched it recently. Not a good movie.
Yeah.
At all. Like the only good projects I can tell you from when Endgame ended was Shang-Chi has its moments.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything else was good.
Yeah.
And then you have No Way Home. After that, like I was not a fan of Fantastic Four at all.
I like the Thunderbolts. I thought
Thunderbolts is good.
I thought their dynamic was really good.
Even them, like the only character that could do anything to Doom.
Oh, Sentry,
yeah, is Sentry, and Sentry's like we don't know if he's going to be able to control himself because we only had one movie to build that off. So like you're lacking the pillars. You're lacking these leaders. Mm-hmm. Like even Thor. Thor has been such a wonky character. He goes from super serious at the beginning. To like figuring out what Earth is all about. Yeah. Second one, Thor: The Dark World, just a mess.
Yeah, because they went from like Infinity War and then Endgame was like and then from Endgame to like Love and Thunder.
Even Ragnarok, like hey, it's my friend from work. Like you just turned. I mean, he was definitely a badass at the end of the movie, but then you go right back to him being.
I think Ragnarok worked because Thor was more of a fish out of water because he was serious the entire time, but he was in a goofy world. But when they made Thor and Love and Thunder like more like a jock bro, I was like, okay, man.
Yeah, like I just don't see how you can really, like, I don't know where you can go from here. Like you'd have.
I know they're gonna work towards a sort of like a maybe it'll be like a soft reboot because I'm not too familiar with the Secret War comics, but that's obviously what they're going. Like next year, Secret Wars is coming out, so I'm guessing they're do like a recast of some of the older characters, but keep some of the establishing ones. Overall, the MCU, like what they've done, they've
It's in a
changed the
fragile
game.
state. Yeah,
They've
they
changed the
did,
game.
No, I think it's just that
but
they put the pillar way too high, and now they're still trying to meet it. So it's just like
They're
you
trying
can't.
to claw back what they had.
Yeah,
before.
no, I
So
agree.
It's just like you like I said, you're just dragging it on and trying to bring these new characters in, and people.
Drop the
away.
ball with X-Men. That franchise might be cooked. Unfortunately,
Because I don't think they can take another hit.
no, because like I said, then you're like if you can't get Wolverine, Cyclops, Magneto, and Professor X to work, like I think you're doomed. Especially considering
No pun intended. Overall, we hope that our pessimism is wrong, and
Yeah.
when we see the movie, like we want to go into the cinemas and want to watch a great movie. And we're big fans of Marvel, and obviously, movies can change in and out. But overall, we're really excited about Doomsday.
I'm definitely
Absolutely.
intrigued.
Any final thoughts, Jalen?
I'm
And that's all the time we have for today, folks.
I really just hope the movie's good. That's pretty much it.
All right. Moving on to our third movie trailer spotlight. It's the Andrew Garfield's The Uprising. Now, from what it seems like, it's like about this. Is he like a peasant in the movie that
I
like?
think he's a farmer.
Yeah, he's like a farmer, kind of like in the
It
lower
kinda
class.
looks like people kind of just like taking a stand to.
Yeah, they're sick and tired of like the taxes and all that, so they want
Yeah.
to fight back.
Yeah, honestly,
and all
the movie, I'm excited to see it. I'm a sucker for anything in like the medieval ages. Andrew Garfield, he looks great in the movie. It's Andrew Garfield, but I think what surprised me was like I never saw him really as an action kind of star. I know he's done like Spider-Man, obviously, but like I'm really curious to see if there's gonna be it kind of looked like a John Wick type vibes.
We're taking a final stand and like
Yeah.
we're done with this. How there's classes, because the problem back in the day with that, and again we're still kind of experiencing it now. You've got your different scales of classes and everything, but the problem back then was you have the kings and you have their men and everything, and then you got the peasants and everyone down below. So what I got from the movie is that Andrew Garfield's the start, and he's fed up with everything. If you've watched Silence, this is what it kind of feels like, but on an action scale. Silence is one of Scorsese's best movies, in my opinion. Just phenomenal. It looks beautiful. And then you got the director, Paul Greengrass. Not too familiar with him. I know he did a couple of the Bond movies. The Bourne movies, I mean. But you got that scale, and I'm sure if he's copying off the Bourne movies, the action's going to be great too.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
really
You
excited
have Andrew Garfield.
because I'm looking at the.
phenomenal.
I was on Letterboxd right now looking at it. So yeah, it's set during. It's set in England during 1381. So that I'm excited to see what happens. I think the atmosphere, I like these sort of medieval sort of times. I'm always intrigued by. And I didn't know this movie was even existing until the trailer dropped. I think last week or something.
Well, we watched it.
Yeah.
I think when Odyssey, we watched the.
Yeah. What about you, Jen? What do you think about the trailer for Uprising?
It looks interesting. Like you said, I do like the medieval times.
Right.
Just dealing with that time is like Bub said. You got your kings, their men, and then you got the peasants. So it's not different, but it's a very interesting to see them fight back and basically.
See, sounds
take
like
it
it's
over.
based off a true story too.
That's what I said in the trailer.
Which
Yeah.
is interesting as well, because
Yeah.
again, if there's a lot of good material out there that you
Yeah.
can build from. But yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
really interested.
All right. Well, guys, thank you for watching episode 3 of the Plot Hole Society. Shout out to the 3 people that are watching at home. We love you. Hey, Mom. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.